Hold on a sec. Okay, perfect. So I was saying that as a sexual couple or married, right? Long-term relationships versus married, to me, they're pretty similar. And this study, oh my goodness, her name, I have a hard time saying their names and I don't want to butcher them. So just if you want the study, let me know. I'll send it to you. But it really is very difficult to find studies on couples' sexual compatibility, except remember the one I said yesterday, Hurlbert, who was the one that did it back in 1993. And it was really unusual. And even up to now, there are some, but they're just not as, detailed as I would like them to be. But this particular paper, this research paper did a great job. And it really talks about how the old school, describing similarities when you're similar to each other in a relationship. So whether married or long-term, I'm just going to superimpose both together. When you're together for such a long time, people think that when you have similar qualities, right? Similar likes, similar dislikes, similar just, emotions, behaviors, and when you are thinking that you're similar and you're thinking you're compatible, this study says it's not enough. So having similar ways of behaving or similar looks, it's just not enough. You've got to look deeper. And what this paper wants to emphasize is companionship, couples' sexual companionship, what you guys can, basically agree on, solve problems, manage discrepancies. So there are a lot of things that go on in a relationship. And we know that the divorce rate is so high. And because it's so high, we know that there's a reason. Could it be that we're not compatible and we're not looking into it? We're not delving into it? And I think that really is part of the reason. So I want to get into this questionnaire because it really goes into the point. It hits home and it says, listen, y'all, we've got to know whether we're compatible or not way before the relationship gets serious. So it's more of understanding whether you can agree, manage these discrepancies or difficulties or differences in the relationship, especially sexually, right? And it does have some similar components to it, right? You have to have some similarities, some basis to get together. There's got to be an attraction, there's got to be a connection, yes. But the real point is old school definition of being similar is not the focus. Companionship is whether you guys can actually resolve differences. Okay, so remember, being able to solve problems, or like I said yesterday, get to the problem before it even happens intuitively. I think this is going to happen, so I'm going to do this to avoid conflict or to avoid a big heated argument, right? Okay, so that being said, the first thing I want to say is I want to talk about the variables in this study. This study actually has variables a little bit similar to what I talked about before, but I want to focus on and read what their variables are because they're very important. Number one variable, requirements of a sexual relationship. So according to the study, there are certain requirements that you have to have in a sexual relationship. Isn't that cool? Now, get this. Number one, couples' love for each other. Now, isn't that cool? I love it because, again, love, some people don't believe in love. I believe in love, romantic love, right? So some people don't. Now, I do know years ago, right, marriage wasn't based on, or getting together wasn't based on love. It was based on, I guess, what someone had or political decisions and especially in some countries now, they still do that. But I believe in romantic love, and I'm not poo-pooing or saying that it's necessary or it's a must. I'm just saying I really do like the fact that there is romantic love now compared to back then when there was not. You had to be forced to marry people that an arranged marriage, right? That you didn't even know. So that couples' love for each other is a benefit. Now, some people don't think it's important, and if it's a business arrangement that you're having, fine, different. But I think ideally for longevity, this is what the study talks about, and for happiness and harmony, you really want to have that love involved. So a requirement number one, and I just love that they put that here in this article. Again, if you want the article, let me know. I'll send it to you. Couples love for each other. Okay. Number two, improving sexual relationship over time. So they're saying there has to be some signs that it's improving your relationship. Okay. So you're getting happier, not sadder or worse, right? Number three, satisfaction with marriage. Okay. These are requirements that you want to have to be sexually compatible. You've got to be satisfied with your marriage. You can't say, I'm unhappy. Sexual attraction in marriage or in a long-term relationship. Remember, I'm going to just interpose both. Sexual attraction, important. Number four, sexual behavior, right? Sexual behavior is, the acts in the bedroom, right? Those sexual activities that you do. You have to have some requirements there. There's got to be some basic understanding, right? Knowing each other sexually, love that. I know some couples that really know each other sexually. They want to live inside each other. So it's really cool when you get that in a relationship, when someone really wants to get inside and be within you and just stay there. I love that, right? So that's getting to know each other sexually. Okay. Reciprocal respect. You've got to have respect for each other, right? Reciprocal respect. We know that's a must. That's a must from the beginning, from the get-go. Have to respect each other. Mutual trust, number 8, mutual trust. Now, I'm big into always explaining that mutual trust can be tough to develop, especially when you don't know the person that well. It takes time and it takes years. I don't even know how many years you would say it takes to develop trust, but it does take a long time. So I always say, make sure you have some trust, at least 50% of trust. And when you talk about trust in different areas, if you don't have it in one area, make sure you have it in another. There has to be some balance there, 50% at least. I might be wrong in saying that, but I don't think trusting stupidly or trusting without, being wise is the best thing to do. I think you really have to go slowly. So if you got at least 50% going, I think you're on the right track. Number 9, active participation in sex. You have to actively participate in sex. Right? Not be like a wooden board. You're going to be active and engaging and move and be fluid and have fun in the bedroom. Active participation. It's got to go back and forth. You just can't lie there. Now, again, there are cultures where they do that. This is not really for those cultures that are against, what I'm saying. If it's not for you, go to another channel. This is for, more westernized cultures where they believe in love and they do believe in each person having their own voice. Okay. Knowing each other's body. Isn't that, again, that's why I love this study. They go into the details. They go into the big details, knowing each other's body. Now, do you know where that little mole is? Do you know where that little birthmark is? Do you know where everything is? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Some people do, describe their partner's bodies to the nth degree, but again, to a good degree, just know each other's body. Number 11, wife's understanding by the husband. All right. So it's important for the husband to understand their wife, right? So the wife's understanding is important. You have to understand who she is. And I think when she's happy, you're all happy. You have to be happy too, guys. But when your wife is happy, she's the foundation of the marriage. She's the foundation of the home. So she really has to be understood. And I know sometimes that's difficult because we are very complicated. And I really do feel for you guys because we too have tough times trying to understand ourselves. But yes, doing your best to understand us, women, wives, your partner is important. Sense of humor. Oh, I'm big into sense of humor. I love to laugh. And I didn't know I was one of those people that love to laugh until, I got older, and it's like, oh my God, laughing is amazing. So please laugh. Have somebody that has a great sense of humor. Please, not someone that just sits there and is not very funny. So please find someone that's funny. Number 13, flexibility. Again, these are requirements. Flexibility. You've got to be flexible. Okay. I mean, it's just like, my goodness, you are so different. You come from different cultures, different backgrounds. You've got to learn to be able to say, oh my gosh, normally I say no, but I'm going to say yes. Or normally I say no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that. You've got to be able to say that out of the ordinary. Sometimes, not all the time, right? But the more the better. Flexibility. Number 13. Getting better sex and recreation and travel. So basically going on vacation. Okay, that is important. Going on vacation and having great sex, right? Somewhere else, somewhere far away, somewhere exotic. All right, yeah, got to plan for it. Got to plan for it. Number 15 and 16, it says, dealing with the sexual needs of the spouse. Crucial. Very, 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 very important. Dealing with the sexual needs of the spouse. You've got to know what the needs are and pinpoint and go right in. Hit home, right? You got to get that ability to nail it. That's the best what I can think of. Okay, guys? Number 17, solving sexual problems, right? That's the basis of that. This is the basis and foundation of sexual compatibility. You've got to be able to solve problems. The better you do it, the more compatible you are, the better the relationship, the better the outcome, the sexual satisfaction, longevity. Okay, remember, solving sexual problems is the secret, or getting to the problem before it happens, which is what I would love to do. Number 18, sexual talk. Okay, so that is the variable that they are talking about in the first part, requirements of sexual relationships. And, communication is my big key here. So saying that sexual talk is important, it is. And you all know that from what I've said before. Please, if you don't, go back and listen to my previous talks, okay? Number 2 variable, sexual agreement. This agreement includes agreement on the frequency of sex. So we've got to have some agreements. And these are the ones you write down and put in the vault or put in the safe, right? Or under the mattress, wherever you want to put it. And you're going to agree and make it a pact, right? You're going to make sure that you guys are going to honor it, right? So number 19 says frequency of sex, sex aids, whether you're going to have them or not, and how often. That's number 20. Number 21 and 22, having or not having anal and oral sex. Very important discussion. You have to agree to it or agree to not do it. So again, put that in writing. This is what I really encourage you to do. Have that open discussion before you're in the bedroom, and have this, over some wine, some tea, some coffee, and just get it out and be honest with each other. Number 23, watching or not watching sexual movies. Very important. Number 24, contraceptive methods. Very important, whether you want to get pregnant or not. And sex positions, number 25. Sex positions, one of my favorite topics. Okay, so you have to agree to those, right? What do you like? What do you don't like? What you don't like? And put it in writing. Actually, everything here should be put in writing. All right, factor number 3. Now, this is a unique perspective in this paper. They have something that we've not talked really much about in the past. They have something called contextual obstacles. Contextual. Did I say contextual? Yeah, contextual, meaning in context, right? Having that circumstance being considered, okay? These obstacles include mismatch in sleeping and waking hours. Now that is something that, I have an issue with, because I don't sleep a lot. And when I do, I do, but when I don't, I don't. So it's like I have these odd sleeping hours. And they're saying here that it can be an obstacle. It can be an obstacle in, a couple's relationship. Mismatch in sleeping and waking hours, because you are supposed to go to bed together and wake up together, cuddling, hugging. So that's an issue, especially if you're a working person, man, woman. The hours can change depending on the job that you have, or depending on the career, or depending on whether you're in doing things like this, right? So it would change I promise it will change to match your partner's, sleeping time. I will do my best and change that. So I'm encouraging you to do that too. That will definitely be a great thing to agree on, right? All right. Next contextual obstacle, challenge between partnering and parenting roles. Again, isn't that cool? Parenting roles and partnering roles. What are your roles? Who's the boss? Who's going to be in charge of this? Who's going to be in charge of that? A lovely aspect to consider before it becomes an issue. That's what makes it compatible. You can sort it out before it's a problem. And last, they said financial issues. Whew, that one is big. We know that's a number one reason for, or number two reason for divorce. But again, financial issues need to be discussed openly. If you want to put it in writing, put it in writing. I know now that that's a fear that men have, women getting into a relationship and taking half or more. But get a prenup. I'm going to have to say that. Get a prenup, get a prenup, get a prenup. And I know even prenups are not guaranteed, but get a prenup better than nothing. Okay? The fourth and final factor or variable, desirable outcomes. These outcomes include becoming kinder. So you want to become kinder in the relationship, not meaner in the relationship. Okay? Reach orgasm, the big O. Yes. That's the outcome you want. Mood change. Now, when they say mood change, they're saying happier mood change, right? You want to be happier. You want to have more joy. You want to have more satisfaction. You want to have more walking around with a smile on your face, right? And then another important outcome is importance of sex in life, right? So that the couples have to know how important sex is in life. And then an interest, which is the last one, an interest in the continuity of sex with the spouse. So you want to continue having sex forever and ever, amen, right? Okay, so this was the variables and factors that this study used to make the questionnaire. Okay, so we're going through the questionnaire. I know I'm taking up your time, but we've got 35 questions. I'm not going to, again, make too much of an issue about you answering them. But the Likert scale from 1 to 4 mean 1, not really, all the way to 4, yes, 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 really. So just look at that scale 1, 2, 3, 4. See where you are. If you want to answer it, that's fine. Otherwise, I can send this to you, and you can answer it at home. But I want to go through them one by one, and I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. I just want to get through the 35 questions. I'll pause a little bit, but I want you to actually think about them and answer them. Whether you're 1, rarely almost 0, basically none, to 4, yes, all the time. Number 1, we love each other. Number 2, our sexual relationship improved over time. Number 3, I'm satisfied with my marriage. Number 4, my spouse is attractive for me sexually. Number 5, I like my spouse's sexual behaviors. Number 6, I know my spouse's sexual behaviors. Number 7, we respect each other. Number 8, we trust each other. Number 9, we have mutual company and participation in our sex. We have mutual company and participation in our sex, which means, I guess, we like each other's company. Okay? Mutual respect, mutual love. And participate in our sex, which means you are active in the bedroom. Number 10, we know each other's body and sensitive sexual points. Number 11, in our sex, husband cares about his wife's spirit and needs. Number 12, we have a sense of humor in our sex. Ta-da! Beautiful. Love it. Sense of humor. Don't be so stiff. Don't be so strict and stuck up and stuff. Relax. It's just sex. It's been around forever, right? Okay. We are flexible in sex. Remember, just from 1 Not much. 2, 4, absolutely. Number 14, our sexual relationship gets better with recreation and traveling. Number 15, my spouse understands my sexual needs. Yum. Number 16, my spouse is indifferent to my sexual needs. So there's some reverse questions here. Okay. So we want to know, is that true, or it's not true, or yes, it's true. So again, that's that scale. Number 17, we solve our sexual problems through the consideration and forgiveness. Oh, we solve our sexual problems through due consideration and forgiveness. Sounds really weird, but that's how they put it here. Number 18, we talk about our sexual issues without shame and embarrassment. Number 19, we have agreement on the numbers of sexual relationship that we have in the bedroom, the frequency basically. So you have an agreement on the amount of sex you have. Number 20, we have agreement on sex aids for intercourse, gels, sprays, and so on. Number 21, we have agreement on having or not having anal sex. Very important. Number 22, we have agreement on having or not having oral sex. Very important. So the agreement is not just yes or no, it's getting detailed. Get into the detail of that, right? Be honest, what do you want? Number 23, we have agreement on watching or not watching sexual movies. Number 24, we have agreement on contraceptive methods. That is, if you don't want to get pregnant, you should be using something. Number 25, we have agreement on the position of our bodies during sex, sexual positions. Number 26, mismatched sleeping and waking hours among family members have faced our sexual relationship with problems. So we're going into that contextual. Remember the sleeping? So the question is, do you have problems? And the answer will be no or yes, from 1 to 4. 27, mismatched sleeping and waking hours of me and my husband have faced our sexual relationship with problems. So the first one was family. This one is you, okay? Family members like children, but this one is between the two of you. Number 28, taking care of children has made us neglectful of each other's sexual needs. So that's 0 or 1, no, to yes, number 4. Number 29, I'm worried my children imagine our sexual relationship. Now that is an unusual one, right? Someone's worrying about their kids. Okay, but yeah, it is here. I'm worried my children imagine our sexual relationship. Never or yes, always. That's 4. Number 30, financial problems affect our sexual relationship. 1, no, 4, yes. Number 31, after sex, we become kinder together. Number 32, I reach orgasm in sex with my spouse. Is that 1? No, never. 4, always. 33, sexual relationship affects my mood and spirit. Should affect it, right? 1 to 4. 34, sex is important in my life. Sex is important in my life. Now you know what the answer has got to be on this one, right? Okay. 1 to 4. 35, the last question. I am interested in continuing my sexual relationship with my spouse for a lifetime. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, that's part of the desirable outcome factors. And so that is it. And I really want you guys to hone in and answer these questions to help your relationship become more compatible. And remember, get there before it happens. Get to the problem before it becomes a problem so that you can save your relationship and your marriage. And I want to end this by saying 2 things. Number 1, this questionnaire is great to use when you have problems, and you can use it before the problems are solved, as an assessment, as an initial screening tool. And of course, professionals will do this with you. And you can repeat the same questionnaire after completing the sexual couples therapy or the sex education intervention that you've gone for. So it can be used as a tool to see whether you've made progress or not. So again, don't give up. There's hope. Get some help, get some therapy, right? And use the tool to see what happens before and after. Okay, that's the first thing I want to say. And the last thing I want to say is there is something called sexual adjustment, and it used to be the same as sexual compatibility. And I want to make sure that you understand it is not. And I know some people have never heard of this, but sexual adjustment is not sexual compatibility, even though it sounds like it should be, but it's not, because the adjustment type is where something has happened in the relationship. Let's say a death of someone, cancer, right? A loss of a job, something, almost a catastrophe has happened, and it's changed the relationship. But those that are able to be compatible, those that are able to work things out, are able to now make a sexual adjustment that has been changed from the original sexual compatibility that you had. So the difference here is that you're really having to make certain agreements or take out the agreement you had before and change it because of circumstances that have happened in your life. So just note that sometimes things do change. Things can happen, and you do have to whip out that paper that we put in the vault or in the bank or under the mattress and make a change to satisfy each other so that the relationship can get back on track and continue. But that is more of a sexual adjustment, and it's still part of being being sexually compatible, but it's really something that you got to know that you got to physically do, make an adjustment to consider and take into consideration the change in the relationship from whatever has happened. And I really pray and hope that we can do that successfully after all the talk that we've done. So that's it for tonight. I'll see you next week. Have a great night.